Baroness Burnett of Manor Castle.
My lords, many noble lords, including the Ladies Andrews and Walmsley, have made reference to the extremely strong, you might almost say scathing, report of the Delegated Powers and Regulatory Reform Committee. I think it is worth going back to its conclusions. It says ministers are, quote, given very wide powers to almost completely rewrite the existing regulatory regimes for human and veterinary medicines and medical devices. This bill is seeing the government seize control, rejecting the oversight and scrutiny of the elected members in the other place and the technical experts here. In the best Trumpian style, it's declaring the rules will be whatever it wants them to be. Forget checks and balances, forget consultation and careful consideration, let ministers rip. That's indeed what the noble lord the minister suggested he wanted in his opening remarks, focusing on speed of action, action that would happen with scant parliamentary scrutiny. So this is something new and radical, he's suggesting. Yet, as the Delegated Powers and Regulatory Reform Committee points out, the government claims elsewhere that this is like-for-like replacement of existing powers. The government can't have this both ways. It's either new and radical or just more of the same. But the noble lord the minister is clearly right. This is new and radical because what exists now is a mechanism of transposing into a UK law EU rules on medicine and medical devices. The new powers have no such constraint. Now, the answer here is not to concentrate power in the hands of the government. The current system is clearly not good enough, but the answer is not to take away controls and oversight, but rather to strengthen it. Democracy, openness, focus on the patient experience and independent expertise. As the Cumberledge report suggests, a commissioner for patient safety is crucial, and I'm pleased to offer the Green Group's support for the noble lady's proposed amendment that she just outlined. We need a more democratic listening approach, as the noble lady, Lady Cumberledge, demonstrated so effectively, not a centralised unchecked one in which few have input. If we consider what the UK regulation might look like if the bill goes through, then we'll have a minister who'll be bombarded by well-funded industry lobbyists about what the new rules should look like. A pharmaceutical company or a device manufacturer has not taken the Hippocratic Oath. Their job, their legal obligation, in fact, is to maximise profits, and their profits are very large. As the former editor of the New England Journal of Medicine suggested, an appropriate metaphor for the pharmaceutical industry is an 800-pound gorilla. And what does that do? He asked rhetorically. Whatever it likes. Your Lordship's house might like to contemplate the image of Matt Hancock up against that gorilla. We've already seen drug companies flexing their muscle in the notable case of Selexipag, also known as Uptravi, using a patient representative group as a cover for a massive lobbying effort. And we know that pharmaceutical companies are lining up for a post-Brexit bonanza with increasing the price that the NHS pays for drugs. And as the noble Lord Alton of Liverpool in his excellent speech made clear, there's a huge problem in our system with conflict of interest, something that's only likely to grow. I'm most often talking about the disastrous model of US healthcare in the context of the rush to privatise our NHS, but a significant contributor to its disastrous and highly expensive outcomes is the political power of the pharmaceutical companies. This bill is not take back control. This is abandon control. And when you're talking about medicines and medical devices from the industry that gave us thalidomide, US opioid epidemic, Primados and pelvic mesh, that is a frightening development.